Hey, what's up guys, this is Dusk Fox here. Today I'm going to be doing a project breakdown of my remix on Monody by TheFatRat. Before we get straight into the breakdown, I just want to thank all of you for the tremendous amount of support on the remix. Anyways, as you guys can tell, I am using a text-to-speech AI to speak for me because I don't have a working microphone. I am also a very shy person in general, which is why I don't feel comfortable sharing my voice. I apologize for that and I hope you guys understand. Anyways, let's get straight into it. First off we have the intro. The intro is relatively simple. There isn't a lot going on. The intro begins with only 4 elements. A piano, a pad, some wind ambience. Finally, we have the vocals.
Summer in the hills, those hazy days I do remember.
Altogether, the first 8 bars of the intro sound like this.
Summer in the hills, those hazy days I do remember. We were running still, had the whole world at our feet.
So yeah, overall the intro is really simple and straightforward. Moving on, we also have a number of new elements that fade in and serve as a transition into the breakdown. A Reese bass, a cello which plays perfect fifths of each of the root notes, finally some supersaws to make the intro sound more full. Oh yeah, and don't forget the cymbal transition. Now we reach the breakdown where things become truly exciting. Again, there are even more additional elements, particularly ones that support or reinforce the melody. We have the violin, a flute, and an oboe. So overall there are a lot of new orchestral instruments introduced in the breakdown. By the way, all of these instruments come from the same one plugin, which is BBC Symphonic Orchestra by Spitfire Audio. This is an orchestral VST that is free to buy. So what am I saying? You can become like me too. Anyways, let's play the entire thing from the intro to the end of the breakdown and see how all of the individual elements come together to form the beginning of the remix.
Summer in the hills, those hazy days I do remember. We were running still, had the whole world at our feet. Watching seasons change, our roads were lined with adventure. Mountains in the way couldn't keep us from the sea. Here we stand up in the
Alright, so after the orchestral intro, once again we are introduced to even more elements, such as these plucks. This pluck is put through a low-pass filter which is automated by envelope 1. And over here are just some basic effects to make the pluck sound more interesting. There's also this one-shot thing in the background too. Oh, and of course we have the lead, the part that I'm pretty sure most of you liked. The patch is actually pretty simple. A square wave with a slight amount of sync and a default wave, both having their pitch automated by about half a note at a rate of 1/16 to create this warm vibrato effect. The effects I added are pretty much just a hyper reverb and an OTT to boost the highs and obviously to make it sound more processed. I also added some hi-hats to transition into the build-up. And a riser and a cymbal transition. I did this cool thing with the riser where I reversed it so it blends in well with the cymbal transition, sorta like a sweeping effect. Over here we have a kick which I fully synthesized completely from scratch through continuous hours of staring non-stop at the computer screen and tweaking some effects. There's also some claps at the end of the build-up, but these aren't mine sadly. There's those risers from earlier too. Anyways, let's play the track all the way from where we left off to the end of the build-up. Oh god, there's going to be a lot to explain here. Let's start with the main lead of the drop. This lead is actually different from the previous one. The lead is a square wave with its pitch being automated at a rate of 80 Hz and a range of 1.5 notes. The lead goes through a low-pass filter which is automated by envelope 1. In the effects I added a hyper to give the lead some dimension, a distortion to make the lead sound more nasty, some multi-band compression to accentuate the effect of the distortion, some reverb and a final EQ to clean things up. Finally, in the FL Studio mixer, I topped it off with even more OTT because it's better to use more OTT. A clipper and a delay which is barely noticeable but does its job at not making the lead sound generic. There is also this pitch bend automation from Serum which I added to make the lead sound more cooler. Next we have the drop supersaws. The supersaws are just the basic, default Serum wavetables with about 10 to 16 layers of unison and a bit of detune topped up with a lot of compression. We also have this Reese bass, which is the same one from earlier. Next we have the drums. The kicks and the snares are once again both designed by me. The only thing I didn't make in the drums are the crashes which I got from one of those Vengeance EDM sample packs. The support lead is just some lazy copy and paste from me. The mid bass is just two basic default wavetables. One of them is pitched down by 2 octaves, has unison, and is louder than the other one. And then some basic distortion and EQ is applied to it. There's also this random pluck in the drop which I completely forgot about before releasing the track. Moving on, we have this absolutely terrible attempt at color bass, but I somehow managed to make it not sound too bad. I just basically compiled a ton of samples and stuff which I liked and dragged them straight into the track. Anyways, I'm sure you guys are a bit curious as to how you are hearing some sort of autotune-like effect. This effect is actually produced from a plugin called PitchMap by Synaptic Audio. What this plugin does is that it basically tunes notes to a specific scale and key, similar to how a normal autotune plugin works. Anyways, that's where majority of the effects come from. There is also this thing I made completely from a happy accident, but it works absolutely awesome. Funny enough, this was actually because I didn't want to create even more sound design to the track, so I decided to search for one of the riser samples I had in my folder. This is what the original sample sounds like. So I basically just reversed that sample and routed it through PitchMap so it sounds like this. Let's play the whole drop from start to finish. Anyways, that is all for the drop. The rest of it is pretty much just generic copy and paste. The orchestral instruments return once again, same as the ones before. I won't be going through anything from these instruments here anymore, as I already did earlier in this video. Anyways, the only thing that really sticks out from this section is those very unique and obscure chords which I can't really explain because I'm not that good with music theory. That's all I have to say for this section. Enjoy the final part of the remix, I guess.
trees, holding on, memories never change.
Anyways, that sums up the whole project breakdown. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope you have gained some insight into how I create my music. I have a lot of projects in progress which I want to finish, and they'll be released pretty soon, so I hope you're hyped for them. Have a good day or night, fellas. Peace.